tries to mug you? What? What if your government tries to throw you in a can? What? You're gonna want a shotgun. Oh. What? One automatic rifle and a lot of ammo. Gun?
We're all set to riot. Buy a gun before you lose your Second Amendment. Buy a gun. They'll burn you out like a Waco. They'll stick your ass in a camp. Check for the cops in riot gear. Gonna kick your ass and laugh. The revolution is on its way. Better lock and load your AK. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. We're all set to riot. Buy a gun before you lose your Second Amendment. Buy a gun. They gave your money to the banksters. They stole your pension funds. It's time that we took to the streets. It's time we had our turn. A revolution is on its way, and the founding fathers would say, buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. You got a riot in the streets. Revolution's not clean and neat. You got a riot in the streets. Revolution's not clean and neat. You gotta drag them through the streets.
Riot everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. This is PrimerTime on UCY.tv. My name is Michael, and I am utterly disgusted. Nick is not here tonight. He is off with the green machine in the woods playing with guns. So good luck, be safe, and hope you're listening. Have fun, Nick. Tonight, I have somebody who's actually somebody I admire. She does a radio show here on UCY. Age of Fission, Fission, on UCY. It comes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I try to catch it as often as I can. And it's kind of something outside of my area, maybe due to subject matter and political leaning stuff. But I really admire what she says and the fact she gets up and do it. And I'd like to introduce Lonnie Clark. And I'd like to thank her for being here. This is kind of an honor for me. So welcome. Welcome to PrimerTime.
Well,
Let's ruin this thing.
I'm honored to be asked on to speak with you, to be honest. I mean, I have to say thank you. Thank you for those kind words, and thank you for having me on, because, to be honest, that was really, I'm 60, so I headbanger stuff. Pretty much what I do with all of that is I just fast forward through it all, and I just listen to you guys. So it's the first time I heard your headbanger music.
Our song actually has a message.
I know it does, and I heard it. Pretty loud and clear.
I heard that song first time maybe 5-6 years ago. And I mean,
have a question to ask you though first before we.
Sure.
When you hear that music, do you have the urge to get up and dance, and move your body and move in your space?
I live in South Texas. I dance to everything, if for nothing else, to create a small area of wind around me to decimate the heat. So yeah, no, that song is kind of like you could chair dance to that song.
Well, because I just wondered, because it made me of course I've been driving in a car today, so I got up and moved around a bit. It was like, okay, that's the value of this. This works.
Well,
I have to say, I was shocked. My eyes popped out when you said that your partner was hunting. I wasn't aware of that. I'm like one of those.
No, he's not. He's not hunting. He's not hunting right now. He'd much rather be hunting. No, my brother's in the Army, and my brother's been in the United States Army for 21 years. Absolutely, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's been a rough life for him, and I know you've got a feeling about this, because I remember on one of your shows you spoke about one of your employees who
he
you
did
kind
not
of
work
disagreed
for me
with.
Not after that. I did not trust him. I don't trust no offense, but that's if you want to go into this Army, especially knowing it's one thing to go in, I had a few nephews who have gone in, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and They've come out hardened. They love their service. They love the military. They're proud of it. I'm proud of them. But they didn't know until they got in how horrible it is. It's an empire.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think Nick would not disagree with you at all when, I mean, from the very basic lie that the Army recruiter will tell you, like, things to bring to basic training. Oh, bring your tennis racket. It's like summer camp. It's like exercise summer camp. They'll really like it. No, they lie to them all. I mean, they're all,
I just don't think we
in
should.
the end, they're all property, right?
Look, this is
They're
what
all property.
it comes back to the nuclear exposure, they experiment on our soldiers first.
Absolutely.
And that is
all those shots, all those drugs. Yeah. Let's drive a great big warship through the Fukushima cloud. Let's stand guys underneath, in the middle of the Utah desert and pop a bomb over them and see what happens.
I say no to that. I've had enough of that. No. I believe that we need to have a military to defend us and protect us, but not play these games of power struggles of protecting the oligarchs. Like, to be honest, as a Democrat, watching the Democrats commit suicide, let me stop this. I got to turn this machine off. Sorry about that.
Oh, I think the Democrats are actually not committing suicide at this point. I think they're actually fairly strong, but they're basis.
They are committing suicide.
The Republicans ever committed suicide. I would dare say that. I don't think there's going to be a Republican Party after this. There will be one name only, but it won't be the grand collection of bitter clingers and gun owners.
This is
and
what's
Bible
hilarious.
Thumpers and pickup truck hats.
What do you think it is, the Republican Party? Like, for me, I don't think this Democratic Party is for me, Bernie Sanders is the Democratic Party. His message is the Democratic Party. He's not some left wing, fly by night. He's like
he went on his honeymoon to the Soviet Union in like 1972 or something like that.
So what? My daughter went to the Soviet Union. So what?
Yeah, but the the Soviet Union or Russia? Because like he went. What I'm saying is like before the wall came down or after.
He was a student. Like he was young. They had a place to go travel. They were studying. They wanted to get to know the politics of it all.
I'm sorry. I have a tattoo that says "Kill a commie" for my mommy. I can't
not
deal
a
with
commie. This is the bullshit. That's like, no offense, but that's just like, I can't even understand how people do not adhere to his message.
Do you think he's going to endorse Hillary?
Hell no. He better not. If he does, I swear to God, I'll join you. I will never fucking vote again, almost. I mean, honestly, I will be so spitting nails. I mean, I think I'll just vote Green Party from now on. Fuck them. We'll just get enough votes for the Green Party or the Independent Party, whoever that is, bing, so that they can be in the...
There's an actual political party called the Guns and Drugs Party. And if you want guns, fine. If you don't want guns, fine. If you want drugs, fine. If you don't want drugs, fine.
See, I don't think we should have a party that specifies drugs and guns, because we should have that stuff. I mean, drugs, prostitution, guns, all that stuff that adults do should be legal. It's really ridiculous to have any laws about anybody's. As long as you don't hurt anybody or fuck with the children, I don't care what you do. But if you do that, I'm harsh on rules like that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you mess with the kids. You mess with the kids, or commit violence, acts of rape, or something like that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
that's actually, we don't even have that now. People get away with that all the time. All the time. It's common.
Well, you get more time in jail for having 4 pounds of weed than you would have for molesting a kid.
That's actually true. That is, and you get out much quicker. Much quicker. Like, even if your sentence is lighter, you get out much quicker, too. It's actually really horrendous. But
I think
so this thing about Bernie Sanders, I'm trying to figure out what you think that Bernie Sanders is so outrageous. What's so outrageous about his plan? What's the outrageous part?
To me, the outrageous part is the promise of free everything. And
what's free everything mean to you? What does that mean, free everything? What does that mean? Free education? Well, you don't want to educate our students?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I think that the concept of free is misrepresented by many people who.
Well, you said it. You're the one who brought it in, free everything. So what is it that you're saying?
It's almost what's being presented is that he's offering this free stuff. And,
what's free stuff, though? Let's just get clear.
Free health care, free education.
Do you not believe in single-payer health care? Do you think we should be the only major company?
I believe I have a healthcare background, so I've got very firm opinions on healthcare. How we do it right now is absolutely 100% incorrect.
Of course.
It's
all about profit.
Gigantic profit.
It's profit over people. That's our healthcare
Absolutely.
program. Profit over people. And that is why
you're treating the wallet. You are not treating the patient.
Look,
I've got my own opinions on that. And my opinions on a lot of things you could almost maybe even call them remotely socialist. But they're not necessarily socialist in a global socialist kind of a way.
Okay, so so let's get clear here. I'm talking about Bernie Sanders. You object to what about what he's offering? What he says we should be moving our government towards. What he's demanding Congress give him legislation. Like if they don't give him this legislation, he's going to write it. It's written. His plans have already been shown to the budget offices, and they all say they work fine. And in the long run, in 10 years, we're going to save a lot of money. That's what they say about his plan. So what is it that you don't want?
I don't like his views on immigration. I think honestly we got a serious problem.
You want to deport all these 11 million people?
No, I don't want to deport anybody unless they've become a problem in this country. If you're in here and you are breaking laws left, right, and center, sorry, you get to go back home.
Yeah, so that happens all the time, and they come back the very next week.
And
the employers continue to not be fined. So it's
I agree that employers should be fined. I think we looked at all these problems absolutely incorrectly. If we could define the United States, it's a collection of knee-jerk reactions at this point. So my views would be...
Michael, can I interject something here on the immigration thing? I have sponsored 5 people into the United States.
And they came in legally, right?
Because no, they were all illegal. 2 of them were legal because they were children. My stepchildren did not come as illegal immigrants. They did not come over enter illegally. 3 of my partners, I've been married 3 times to foreigners. They were all, one from England, one from Guatemala, and one from Peru. All illegal. I saw it as a paper.
But they became legal, and then there's a process that after you get married, where they can obtain citizenship and pay into the system and
they pay into the system.
Kind of contribute to the few benefits.
Most of them pay into the system right now, and they get nothing out of it because they can't have welfare. The only thing that happens is their kids get to go to school. Free lunch maybe at school, but not most of them. I mean, they just give lunch to kids. So it's free school for their kids, but that's about the whole. They do not get to go to. What happens is they go as indigents in the emergency room, like a lot of super poor people in the United States.
Yes,
you cannot go to the doctor until you're super sick.
A lot of regular citizens use the emergency
That's right. So, like, this is what I don't understand, how people like you can say Bernie Sanders is a socialist because what? Because he wants to give socialized medicine, health care for all, and then if you want to pay for your own super expensive guy, go ahead, we'll make it a deduction anyways. You can have the tax deduction, no problemo. That's fine. I mean, you know how much he wants to increase the taxes on Wall Street? 2%.
Oh, I can agree with an increase of the tax on Wall Street, but that 2%, 2%.
That's radical. 2%.
I think 2% tax on every Wall Street transaction.
Letting the dreamers stay is no. For me, the dreamers are Americans. If you ask me, you ask an 8-year-old child.
I've got my own opinion on immigration because I'm a child of immigrants, and my parents immigrated here legally, and I've lived in border communities, and I currently live in South Texas, and you could call it North Mexico. I've got people that a very, very, very good friend of mine is an American citizen, kind of similar to, he came into the United States a couple times illegally. But I'll tell you what, he is the hardest working man I know. He's a good dude.
Hello.
So I'm not saying, throw him out from like some kind of like blinded jingoistic point of view. I don't, and honestly, that to me, that's actually kind of disgusting to like, start, running school buses driven by, Blackwater whacking hut contractors to go and, pick up, some dude who's doing drywall to feed his family.
Have you seen that happen? I have seen that happen. I was living in Boulder, and I saw the ICE come in, circle an apartment complex, fill up 3 busloads of people, and drive them away.
But I'm going to tell you something. Those people right there were the wrong people. Those people got caught in unfortunate or fortunate, whatever. They were sacrificed because there is no plan to remove illegal aliens.
That's right.
Or even when they're in custody. I mean, it's a bigger problem than the people coming over the border. Because honestly, if I was them, I'd come over the border too. I've been to Mexico. I've spent a lot of time in Mexico, and honestly, if I didn't have a big comparative wad of American cash to live down there, I wouldn't want to live in Mexico. It's bad.
So are you?
Well, I mean, I don't blame
Michael,
them.
I can't get off this like Bernie Sanders idea here. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from in terms of, are you a non-voter? Are you a Trump voter? Or are you going to vote for somebody else?
I am a non-voter until the right guy shows up. And the last person who I considered voting for would have been Deborah Medina, who was running for governor of Texas a few years ago. And she was coming in on a very strong anti-tax and property rights and personal rights.
Like libertarian type of candidate.
Even stronger than a libertarian. She was going to restore a Lloydal property or a Lloydal title in Texas. She was going to basically you pay one more round of income tax or property tax. There's no state income tax in Texas. So you pay one more round of property tax, and then that was it. You owned the property. There was no way that the city could or the county or the state could come in because you did not pay.
Okay, and so how does that work at the government level? You guys don't have state income tax. You have no property tax.
Because our
how do you
police
sustain
write
your
more
government?
tickets than our police write more tickets than any other state in the nation, and our property taxes are incredibly high. I live in a town of
Yeah, but if you cut out the property taxes, okay, then you'd have police abuse.
We write tickets like you wouldn't believe.
For what? I mean,
everything. Is your grass too tall? That's a $250 fine from the city or the county code enforcement.
What?
Oh yeah. I mean, so it's a trade-off.
I want to live there. No thanks. Like, really? No. I don't know. I mean, honestly,
I got clean air.
So do I. But I mean, honestly, to be frank,
I don't have to shovel the snow.
I mean, I'd be afraid I'd get shot in the back by some do-gooder Christian person who says, "Oh, that baby murderer, boom," and I'd be dead.
No. I'll tell you what. It's that's a horrible stereotype because
that is a murder. Those people are murderers. For us to allow abortion clinics to be terrorized and women to be harassed, and then commonly known secret that many of those protesters often sneak in to get their own abortions, it makes me spit nails because that is the facts. And you know what?
Oh yeah. Well, look, there's two-facedness in everything. But I mean, you also, if you're going to look at like abortion clinics, murder at abortion clinics or something. I mean, those numbers are dramatically small compared to the amount of babies that are killed. So I mean, I'm not necessarily in favor of abortion.
Nobody
I understand
is. Come on, give me a break.
It's a medical.
Is.
Oh no. There's some people out there that actually, not only favor the ability to have it. They actually champion people to go out and have it. Please make sure you have an abortion. And I think that's wrong. I personally believe that.
Do you know anybody? I honestly, as a woman, have never known any woman, and I have worked at Planned Parenthood clinics. I have had an abortion. I have had the counseling. I know what they say to you. And I understand what it means, and I understand how it affects your family. And I have given a speech up at in Salem, to our representatives on this very issue. I am sick of it being in the closet and called a murderer, because it's not. People need to understand there are circumstances to people's lives that make these choices hard.
No, I agree.
You know what? Like, it's just outrageous.
It shouldn't be used as birth control when
of course it shouldn't. And it should, look, it should not. It should be respected. And it is respected by the people who actually do it. What's happened is the people who, we have gotten in a tizzy, not just that issue. This is why a lot of people are free. This is how they have used the voters in the Trump campaign, because they're people that are emotional and they want their fucking country back.
Trump voters would win. If there was a competition, they would totally win the knee-jerk reaction.
Well, not just that. They want their country back. They're sick of being jerked around, and they're not flaming liberals. You know, I got family members like this. My sister loves Trump. She thinks he's just the best thing since sliced bread. Even when he's outrageous, she's like, who cares, man? We need somebody like that.
You know what? And I think that's.
I wish it was so true. If that was the truth, that's why he's a better option than Clinton. Because Clinton, we know the evil that she's already perpetrated.
Absolutely.
I think he will click his heels and say Sig Heil.
She's in the chamber molting into her final form right now. She's going to shed the old carcass and emerge as the new reptile queen. I firmly believe that. And no, abortions won't go away under Hillary Clinton because she needs a protein source. So, I
had to mute the phone there a minute. You were cracking me up for real.
But I see the average new Bernie voter and the average Trump voter as people who aren't necessarily aligned with Bernie or aligned with Trump. There's no
anti-Clinton. We are anti-Clinton.
They are just anti-everything. They're anti-lawyer. They're anti-politician. They are fed up.
Well, I'm not
anti-lawyer.
I'm going to become a lawyer. I'm not anti-lawyer. I'm for people who are honest, who are willing to. I'm for anti-greed and avarice and corruption. I mean, where is the integrity? We need to have a
problem in the entire world is the concept of usury. The concept of usury is the ultimate slavery.
Right.
And really, if you really want to get into it, I think that's one of the reasons why, Sharia law is absolutely demonized in the media. And I'm not an advocate of Sharia law. I don't believe that the Islamic culture works well in the United States, except for like shawarma stands and them really cool cucumber and lemon drinks that they make. That's it. I mean, the music is kind of interesting, but none of the religious stuff works in it, except for the Sharia law looks at usury as totally forbidden. So there's no adjustable rate mortgages or anything like that. If you borrow money, you have a set amount to pay back. There's no bullshit involved like that. And then they also look at insurance as gambling, and gambling is wrong. And they're right, because insurance is nothing but betting that you're going to lose.
Look, this is just bullshit. I don't think we should have laws like that. I don't think that's right or wrong. It's about integrity. It's like I was driving home from Salem today thinking about this. I'm driving in this little plastic car.
Lawyers or insurance salesmen. I mean, that might be a great, big, huge generalization, and apologies to the lawyers and insurance salesmen in the audience, but it doesn't work out for the average guy.
So you're saying in this election you're not going to vote unless somebody good comes along?
Unless they.
So what about that guy Gary Johnson? Do you like him?
I don't like Gary.
I don't know.
I think Gary Johnson's another career politician, and I think he's found another little sub niche to fill in in his role as part of the gigantic political
See, this
machine.
is what I would like. This is really, I mean, I had this like flash the other night. Wouldn't this be a kick if we had like Bernie Clinton and then he said he would put Hillary Clinton as his vice president? He better sleep with a suit on all night long. You know what I mean? Like he like
Yeah. I'm almost waiting for a debate between Trump and Clinton, where Trump can drop the word Arkansas in front of like 70 million viewers.
doesn't
I would
matter.
love
That
to
she
see that
will
be the
shake that
trending
off.
Google search.
You think she could care less? There is nothing you can accuse her of that she will even back. She's a known murderer. She laughed about killing Gaddafi on the camera and acted like it was something fun. She's a maniac. I mean, I think she's. I called. I sent a letter to Steny Hoyer, the Democratic whip, and I said she better use her heart as an excuse and drop out because you guys are committing suicide. Because I'm a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat. I know many of us. We are not voting for her. I don't care. I'm less afraid of Trump than I am her. And I will never go back to the Democratic Party if Bernie Sanders tells me to vote for her. No,
Honestly,
no, and no.
if you're scared of like the Hillary agenda, or you're not even scared, just dissatisfied, absolutely incompatible with the Hillary agenda, I think Trump is the only smart vote, just because he guarantees massive gridlock. Nothing will happen. Nothing will but nothing will degrade. It'll just be a gigantic
Well, if
stagnation.
that were true, that might not be a bad idea, but I think he is going to take orders from the general, and we are going to see the empire get bigger. And he will have no problem writing big checks, no problem going into bigger, deeper debt. In fact, I've heard people say they like Trump because he knows how to handle bankrupt states. And we're about to go bankrupt. So he's probably the perfect person because he knows how
Well,
to
I
survive.
mean, they're kind of right about that bankruptcy thing, because I mean, well, the official debt is like $19 trillion or something like that, and but if you actually do checkbook math, like you and I have to do, like you take this much amount out of your checkbook and you are left with this amount. Our national debt is like 470. It's like 472 trillion. Checkbook math, not congressional math, not government math.
Yeah, you mean not with the balance sheet of checks and debits. Yeah. Well,
Not
we're still
pretend
upside
math.
down, but you know why we're upside down? Because we're doing ridiculous spending. We're giving money to Saudi Arabia. We're giving money to Qatar. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount
Just
of
signed a deal where we're going to give $40 billion to Israel.
Right, right. Israel needs $40 billion to do what? How big? If we cut up.
Well, those little girls have knives. She threw a rock at him. I mean, come on. This is just like Hitler. 6 million. Lampshades and soap. More money, please. No. Israel's evil. Israel's evil. I love it. I love the total right-wing people who
See, I think
are
Israel
total
is
Israel lovers and latched on to Trump. Like Trump represents Israel.
Well, Trump is a friend to Israel. He'll always be a friend to the Israeli.
You don't become a real estate and casino magnate in New Jersey and New York without going to a few bar mitzvahs. I mean, especially if you find everything with junk bonds.
It has
I
nothing.
mean, you gotta run
See,
into
the whole
somebody
thing with
who got,
Israel, though, really, Michael, is about the industrial military complex. It's about war. War is profitable. They have to have it. They did it. It's been planned since we have been nonstop war since the beginning of the last century, essentially. Nonstop,
Oh, yeah.
nonstop. In fact,
Yeah,
our
big
country
one.
has nothing but been a warring country. We've never had any. There was a guy. He wrote this book. I didn't read it, but I saw him talk about his book, and he said the United States has been at war all but 2 or 3 years, every year since it's been in existence.
I think the USA has been at war for every year of my life except for 6 months that I've been alive, and I'm in my mid-40s almost. So.
Well, that's the thing. Make an effort now to. I mean, we do have that deep state. We have that secret bank. That's where all those trillions of dollars disappeared into.
Just for a reference, how the the war hits me. my brother's been in the Army for 20 years. You know, he went in,
Oh,
right after high school. You know, well, I mean, it was a tough time back then. That was the middle of the 90s and the dot-com crash, and the only jobs available for a kid straight out of high school where we lived was
service.
either.
What does he
it
do
was
in the
either
service?
pulling sick. He's like an intelligence analyst.
He's a what intelligence analyst? God,
Yeah,
I bet he knows a boatload of stuff. He probably listens to me and laughs his ass off.
I think he listens to me and laughs his ass off. I think he listens to you, or if he's listening to you right now, I truly hope he is. I think he's thinking that you're wrong because he's a very linear person, like very binary. It's yes or no. And that, I think a lot of that is who he is, but then a lot of that has to be like, you know, military training and conditioning. But he was gone for a long time. Like he left the country in like 2005 and then only came back just a year ago. So he missed a lot of the change in this country, you know, post 9/11. He was,
Where
you know,
was
in
he
the United
serving? Where was he serving?
Oh, he went all over the world. He went to Korea, Germany, Afghanistan, Iraq. Yeah, he's, you know, various trips all over the place. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's seen the world on Uncle Sam's
What does he think
Yeah,
about the nuclear stuff? What is his opinion about Fukushima? Do you guys talk about that?
Not really. We got that's
You should
not
ask him. You should ask him.
I think I will. I mean, I know that he kind of views nuclear as a necessary evil, and because it's already in place. What are you going to do? It's
stop making more. That's what you're going to do.
We can't fix the water. We can't fix the water in Detroit.
No, we cannot fix it. Look, but we can stop putting our resources into something that continues to poison us and put our resources into something to finding solutions. Because until we admit we have a problem and we really like stop pouring money into things that are just destroying us even faster. Like, I think that we can save our earth. I think we can turn it around. I really am the eternal optimist. I believe that we're here on purpose. I actually do believe in God, to be honest. I'm extremely strong belief that we were here on purpose. This is not an accident, Michael. God put us here on this.
No. I believe we have a purpose, and I think there's a creator. I'm not going to call it God or give it a name.
Whatever it is,
I think that's awful ballsy of you to give whatever this magnificent creator is that made everything that's never really appeared to you other than the fact that everything is here. I think it's kind of ballsy to give it a name.
Okay, so maybe
to make sure that you know what it wants.
You want to just call
but I
it the
do
universe?
believe that there's an intelligent. I think there's an intelligent force that created the universe, and if not necessarily a central design and an overriding love, there is an essential love there because you're here, and that's your gift. So do with it, you know.
Say that again.
That's kind of.
Say that again because I missed that. Like you're saying that you think there is an intelligent design. There is an intelligent being that created all of this?
I think that there's something that out there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
See, I think it's just like this. I think it's more ethereal about all of that. Like, I think there's just this universal energy force.
But I'm not going to call it a wave. I don't want to see a being and anthropomorphize it into some, you know, like white bearded old man, you know, like Wilford Brimley or something like that. No.
Well, the question is, what do we do with our species for the next 150 years now that we've filled this planet with toxins, like, dramatically?
Well, it depends on what you want to do and who's asking that question. And the people who usually ask that question have a vested interest in killing off a lot of the people and destroying a lot of the area and rebuilding it. So I would dare say that the plan is for a big, huge conventional war without the use of nuclear devices unless it's in an area that we can afford. We, as in the 0.01% hive mind that controls this whole thing. I think it's just 40, 60, 80, 100 million. Yeah, whatever. I mean, China's got a great big old huge overflow of the population, and so does India. So let's get it on.
That's what they're doing with the nuclear. They're doubled down with the nuclear. Because in 10, 15 years, I mean, the mutated children do not reproduce. And if they do reproduce, their children are sterile. So, like, this is why Dr. Caldecott says really the latency period for the worst part of it is 84 to 80 years. I mean, cancer, the
Well, I
leukemias is
see
only
that.
part of it, but genetic mutations and sterilization is, and then you have all the ill health throughout your life kind of thing going on.
Well, let's take this back to the gigantic profit machine, the huge war that's in the offing and has probably been in the offing for, well, at least before 9/11. 9/11 might be the opening salvo of it, but it's been planned for long before that. So let's take a look at the use of depleted uranium rounds and just the absolute devastation that's going to wreak on all the Middle East and Bosnia.
Do you know that Dr. Busby said that in Fallujah they found that they weren't using depleted uranium, they were using live uranium?
I don't know about that.
That's what his studies showed. That's what his scientific studies showed. They were looking for depleted uranium. What they found was live uranium. You can check out Dr. Busby. Go look at him. Dr. Chris Busby.
See, that would almost be one that I wouldn't doubt that they found live uranium there because, I mean, shit, you never know what happens. But I don't think that they're actually using that because they're as a conventional round, like there's something that's fired out of a tank.
Oh, so you think maybe it might have been some aberration?
No, I think it may be a contamination from something else. I don't think that's necessarily like a stocked item for the military. There's the depleted uranium and then the active uranium. I don't think so.
Well, our country is the only one that says depleted uranium. I mean, most of the other countries have banned depleted uranium. And
Israel uses the hell out of it, man.
Well, it's because
those little girls with knives are tough.
Israel Israel doesn't conform to a lot of things. So Israel does not. Israel tortures children, for God's sakes. So, really, can't.
Yeah.
We can't talk about what Israel
steals land. Israel steals land from people, and they get pissed off when they get mad about it.
Well, because they believe, if you look at where the original Israel was, it went all across Jordan. So does that mean after they've knocked out the Gazans, they're going to start going after the Jordans? Probably the answer is yes.
Absolutely. I firmly believe that. There's something called the Greater Israel Plan that is an actual real thing. And,
they believe that.
They like a huge swath of that. And the part of the thing that really kind of drives me crazy about the Israeli deal is, they say, oh, well, God says that it's ours. We have a 5,000-year lineage to this place and blah, blah, blah. But why are there 80% Russians and Germans and Ukrainians and Polish people, people of Polish and Russian, Ukrainian, and German extraction living in Israel? Those aren't desert people. I mean, here's a telling fact that
why they're there.
Israel leads the entire planet in skin cancers per capita. Now that's you don't find that in Mexico, where there's brown people who are indigenous to the area. You don't find that you find that where people who are from cold, overcast, non-equatorial hot places move to sunny climates where they don't got to shovel snow. Yeah, they get skin cancer. It's just, red-haired, white-skinned people don't necessarily belong in the middle of the hot like that, and that's just a natural genetic thing. So that kind of disproves that whole 5,000-year thing to me. And honestly, your storybook says that your imaginary side daddy says that you get this land. It kind of makes me mad. That really makes me mad. And what makes me really mad is that we have to fund it.
Well, that's the point, is we don't have to fund it if we decide that we're going to do that, though, Michael. We have to choose to get engaged in the political process. That's what Bernie Sanders is telling people. Look, you can't just vote for me and expect things to work. You have to get engaged.
He what do you call that?
this is what I don't understand because, well, you're a non-voter, so you're not going to vote, and because you think he's too much of an insider. That's why you're just not going to vote for him. See, for me, I think we need to vote. I think we need to just
if
throw
I was
a dart.
a voter, I wouldn't vote for him. And honestly, I think the voting, if it actually accomplished anything, you wouldn't be allowed to do it. And there's no way that my vote can override a Diebold machine.
Well, not anymore. That's true. But you know what? There is legislation going through to remove the Diebold machines. They only came in very recently. We can have them removed. They're not part of what we've had traditionally. And there is legislation, and there's a lot of movement towards that. This Democratic primary with Hillary Clinton and the DNC coercing and colluding together to steal the primaries from Bernie.
Do you think it woke a lot of people up? Do you think that kind of became a bell ringer for new participants in the system?
Yes, because you know what? If they would have just let Bernie win landslide, we would have had a whole different conversation about Trump and everybody else, but they could not let Bernie win because their plan is to put... In fact, the documents that are being released now show that all they talk about is Clinton, Clinton, Clinton. The DNC is only supporting Clinton.
Absolutely, and the media does nothing but give Trump free advertisement.
That's on purpose to keep them from talking about Trump. I mean, to keep them from talking about Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is sweeping the nation.
I'll give you something that kind of shook me on a non-political level with Bernie, and I knew that no matter what he says, that he's not the guy for me ever. And that was when those two Black Lives Matter ladies went up on stage and threw a great big fit, and he kind of
let them speak. I thought that was awesome. I personally admired him for that. I went bravo.
For me, we're in ugly times in this entire world situation, and that.
For me, it was like, no, you know what? Let them speak. Like, who cares? It's the beginning of his campaign. No, I think it was at the perfect time.
But it wasn't. They didn't come up and ask to speak or anything. They took it by force, and he kind of acquiesced to it. And just his, I don't want to defame the man.
I know what you're saying. It was just like
kind of weaselly that he didn't step up and say, "I'm sorry, this is my show today. You can step back."
But I think the timing. This is why I liked it, because if you understood, look, understanding the sentiments, everybody in the media, especially at that time, were twisting these people's words. And nobody gave them the microphone. That's why they went up and said, you know what, damn straight, if we can't get Bernie Sanders, the known progressive, the one person who says we'll listen to everybody, to let us just take the mic to talk to the people in our city, and just to hold it, I actually really admired him for doing that. I thought it was the perfect thing to do. And it allowed that movement to gain some speed and get some recognition, because they certainly need it. We have enough black people being harassed and murdered in our country. My nephew is, let me tell you what, my nephew is half black. He's kind of chocolate colored. He lives in Los Angeles. He cannot drive a car. He drives his bike back and forth to work. And you know what happens when he drives his bike? The cops pull him over and ask him where he's going and what he's doing. All he does is go back and forth to work.
I do not doubt that at all, and I will agree with you that.
And that is common. It is not uncommon.
I totally see that, but at the same time, you've got let's just go with Chicago, right? And this kind of almost gets into
don't go with Chicago, because Chicago is made by the cops. The gangs there are made by the cops. Let's just be clear.
Yeah, but
it's for profit, Michael.
Shootings over.
It's money. They don't care about human life.
No, they don't. And that's the thing, right? So Black Lives Matter, but they don't matter every weekend in Chicago.
Yes, they do matter every weekend in Chicago. You know, when the crime rate started going up in these inner cities?
It's huge. There should be a huge protest then every weekend for what goes on in Chicago, because seriously, on this show, we kind of quote the Chicago statistic almost, at least monthly.
You know what you don't understand is that there are protests, there are activists, there is things going on. We never hear about it. there's things going on. There's things going up in Portland all the time. Because the Portland police are pretty rough on the black community, so they do have things up there. But do you?
I think the cops are kind of rough on the black community everywhere.
Well, look,
and especially,
why do you
especially I would say black males between the ages of 14 and 35. I'd say definitely that those guys probably get short shrift from the cops. Like
I think
up.
it's all part of the social engineering. Let's talk about a certain segment. It's not just when we really think about it. It's all about
if you're going to go back to it, social engineering. Let's go with LBJ and the Great Society, right? Which is the forerunner to the entire entitlement mess that we have now. And
I couldn't disagree with
you.
I could not disagree with you more. LBJ was just a bootlicker. But the principal idea of giving people their rights and giving people basic rights as an individual. And when we started seeing crimes in Chicago, when Bill Clinton came in and, quote, cleaned up house and drove people into abject poverty, the United States is top of the list in the first world nations for childhood poverty, bar none. We have homeless people across our nation. We have our veterans in the streets. It's an outrage. And all of
we have, what is it? It's 26 veterans a day committing suicide. And I'll tell you what, I live in this little tiny coastal town, so there's like a lot of like sport fishing and stuff, recreational stuff down here. And there's a group, I don't know if you've heard of them, they're called Wounded Warriors, and they take guys who've been wounded in whatever conflict, and they bring them down for fishing trips and outdoor stuff that does some hunting or horseback riding or whatever.
Time,
yeah. So there's always a great big parade that comes through my town when they do it, because they go fishing not too far from here, and so every year the parade of buses has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's really kind of I didn't go and watch it this year. I'm sickened with it now, because last year there was like 9 buses full of guys, and the real heartbreaker is the 3 one-ton trucks that are hauling 36-foot trailers full of wheelchairs. But I got a problem with that. So hey, let me run something by you that's kind of topical to the nation right now. What do you think of in the wake of the Orlando thing, the rush to have gun bills thrown through, and the guy who filibustered, and the failure of these gun bills to pass? You there?
You know what? I had the phone on mute, so I wouldn't make up too much.
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
Sorry.
I think first, that if they enforce the laws that we already had, the guy could not have been framed to have bought that gun. I think the whole thing, I don't believe any of it. I mean, I think people really did die, but I think it was an orchestrated death, kind of like the Boston thing. And the rush to guns, that was part of the program, man. Let's get those things in. And it was an election tool. It was an election. The whole thing was just an election tool. That's what I think. I mean, sure made Trump a lot less popular. Why is it that Trump mysterious?
Do you think it made Trump less popular? Or do you think I think it gave Trump a boost.
No,
I think a lot of people
no.
In the polls,
in the polls, Hillary Clinton exceeded Trump for the first time in the polls.
I don't believe those polls at all. I do not believe
I do.
I believe those polls are fake as every other thing.
I think the whole thing is fake. I think Trump is in the race to make Hillary Clinton get elected. I think what's going to happen is, I think that whole thing in Orlando was a setup. I think they did kill some people, and I think that he had some help murdering some people, and
I think that's a very good possibility. But
and I think that Trump will be ousted as the Republican, and they're going to run some guy, and Hillary Clinton will go bada bada bing, and if not, then we'll get some other Republican.
If the Republican Party ousts Trump at the convention, there will be hell to pay.
You think so?
And that is almost a joke on Trump's hair. But yes, there will be hell to pay, because people like Trump because he's not establishment. He's not an attorney. And they couldn't give two shits about what Trump says.
So are you
I mean,
telling
build,
me
build a wall. That sounds great. That's an awesome idea. Who are you going to get to build a wall?
right?
I mean, you'll have to have, like, Spanish-speaking crews.
Right.
Honestly. So, that's all. But it doesn't matter because everybody else lies, and at least Trump's lies are palatable.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you can see.
And on top of everything else, Trump and Hillary are like cousins. They're like 19th cousins.
Well, it's like I told Danny Hoyer, you know what? They're two sides of the same fascist coin. Really, for real. And Trump is, Trump buys the lobbyists. Clinton is paid by the lobbyists. They're on the same side. I think he's in it with her because either way, it's a win-win for whoever's paying them. Win-win for them. That's why, to me, like, it's so obvious. Like, if you want to poke him in the eye, that's why I like Bernie Sanders or Jill Stein. I'm going to either vote for Jill Stein or Bernie Sanders. And
I'd vote for Vermin Supreme before I voted for any of these fools. Vermin Supreme's the dude who wears the rubber boot on his head and offers everybody like a free pony and will enforce mandatory dental health in the country. I would vote for that dude before I voted for any of these jackasses.
I like Bernie Sanders. I think he would make a sound president.
I know you like Bernie Sanders,
but I'll tell you what, I will be
completely sympathetic to you when he rolls over and endorses Hillary and tells all his phone bankers to start phone banking.
Please, oh God, I pray that day does not.
So if it happens.
I will feel so betrayed. I'll tell you what.
And we will talk about what kind of gun you're going to buy at that place.
Well, there's like 3 gun stores within a mile of me. Like, they're everywhere. These gun stores are everywhere.
You should go. You should really go and check them out. And don't necessarily go in to buy. Just say you want to look at them. And notice prices. Be very observant when you go in there. And don't look at them as guns. Look at them as machinery and maybe as pieces of art.
Okay, so what should I be looking for me?
Oh, for you,
yes.
something that feels good in your hand.
Oh Lord, it's probably not a gun.
Well, you'll know what I mean when I
touch it. Okay, when I touch it.
Right, you'll know what I mean. You'll know that this one fits my hand.
How much money is this thing gonna cost?
How much money you got? Because it can be anywhere from $150 to $1,500 for a decent handgun.
Wow. So that's what you think it should be, as a handgun?
Well, I think a handgun is my views on handguns is they're better than nothing, but they can always be there. I don't think a handgun is the ultimate stopper by any means. And as a matter of fact, I think a handgun is fairly underpowered when it comes to like a self-defense thing. But
okay, so what is a good self-defense thing? Then what's a good if I'm going to do it, I want like a good self-defense thing. So what's a good one? What should I get?
It depends on.
Uh-oh. Hi there, you guys. This is Lonnie on UCY Radio. Let me give him a call back. How's about that idea? So let me see if I can get him, or maybe he'll have the wherewithal to give us a call, but if not, let me just dial his number. Well, I guess they didn't like us talking about guns with someone who really doesn't know anything about guns or particularly like them, but that's the way it goes. We have a right to talk about what we want. Let's hope this works. Maybe his phone went dead. Oh, Lord, that would...
This person's voicemail is disabled. You cannot leave a...
Hi again, this is Lonnie with... on Michael's show, and somehow Michael's call got dropped, so I'm going to see if I can connect with him through the Skype venue. Let's see where we go with this one. See if this will answer. Gee whiz, we almost got him.
Okay.
There you go.
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
That was pretty slick. Hey, listen, we're getting kind of close to the end, and there's something that we do on this show every week, and it's kind of one of the main reasons I do this show. We give the 4 rules of firearm safety every week, and
Okay, good. I like that.
I firmly believe in them. So
4 rules of
straight up,
firearms. Okay, tell me what they are.
it's the 4 rules of firearm safety, and the first rule is every firearm is loaded until you visually and physically verify and inspect and ensure that it is unloaded. So you got to make sure that there's no bullet in the chamber. When you close it back up, you're not going to reload it. Second
So
rule,
say that again. They have to be stored unarmed.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that every firearm is loaded.
Is
you
loaded.
are to
Okay.
assume that every firearm is loaded until you visually and inspect and ensure that it is not.
Okay.
So you don't just think, oh, that gun, he said that it's unloaded, I can just pick it up.
Oh,
no,
personally. Okay, got it.
That thing up and you flip open that cylinder, you make sure there's no bullets in there. You pull the slide back, you drop that magazine out, crack that action. Sure, there's nothing in there.
Okay.
And the second rule is you keep the barrel, the muzzle, which is the end of the barrel, you keep that pointed in a safe direction at all times. You do not want to point that at anything you do not want to destroy.
Okay.
Rule number 3 is you know what your target is, and you know what's beyond your target.
Okay.
So
number 3, know your target.
Like, you don't hit some little kid on a bicycle or something.
Oh, and know what's beyond your target. Okay.
Right. And at all times, you don't just say, I think it's okay. You got to know, because you can't call the bullet back. And the most important rule is the 4th rule, and it's keep your booger hook off the bang switch until you are ready to discharge the weapon. No accidents, no negligence occurs without somebody putting their finger on the trigger. Guns don't just go off no matter what the media says. Somebody has to pull the trigger. So keep the booger hook off the bang switch until you are ready to discharge the weapon.
So do not touch the thing until you're ready to discharge.
So you're ready to fire, right?
So your finger does not touch the gun.
Does not touch the trigger.
The trigger, okay. Until you're ready to discharge. Okay.
And that's pretty much it. If you don't follow any of the other ones, make sure you follow that 4th one, because nothing happens without that.
Yeah, that's a true statement. Wow. Well, those are good rules. Kind of like interesting, like the 4 agreements. 4 must be a magic number, because the 4 agreements helps you live your life. And here's the 4 rules of firearm safety. I like that. Thank you for inviting me on your show.
Well, it was fun. It was a very different show from what we usually do, but I totally
know.
enjoy it. And I love the back and forth, and I love that you do not acquiesce to anybody's position, that you hold and you believe in what you believe in, and you say what you believe in, no matter how wrong you may be on certain issues.
I know I'm going to burn in hell. I've already been told that numerous times. So love the sinner, hate the sin, I guess.
You'll have plenty of company. Don't worry.
I actually don't believe in. I think this is hell. That's my deal. Like, this is heaven, and hell is where we make it.
Well, if the Creator loves you and all that, why does He have to make hell? I mean, is that like an extra special love?
That's the human condition. Humans do that to ourselves. I don't think that animals live in hell. Animals just exist. They love. They experience life. That's it.
You got pet? I have a dog.
Although they could live in hell if we throw them in there. That would be. Anyways.
Oh man, do you have pets?
So Michael, we're missing you.
Can you hear me?
Barely, and we've only got like 45 seconds left.
Oh geez. Well, hey, Lonnie, thank you very much for coming on. This has been a wonderful addition to PrimerTime on UCY.tv, and we have to give a shout out to Jules. And I'd like, if anybody out there's got an extra couple bucks, please hit Jules' PayPal. She works really hard. She puts out this show, and honestly, there's no place else you get discussions and the information you get here. And there's a little bit for everybody. So thank you, everybody. And Lonnie, your show. Tell everybody real quick.
It's the Age of Fission radio show, Pacific Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And you can catch us also on UCY and YouTube and on my Nuts for Art channel. So, and Fridays is Call-In Friday, so you're...
Thank you very much.
Before you lose your Hate